Hello, my friends. This is Andy over at the Facebook Live TV show. As the title suggests, I'm testing a little bit of a new setup here inside the studio, which don't tell anybody if you don't already know this. It's my garage. So this is one side of my garage right here where I set up these panels, this whiteboard. Oh, I should have cleaned that off. And then on the other side, what I'm doing for the dog training business, and at some point maybe doing some interviews for and have a different setup for interviews of people actually here in the studio. I have the rest of my garage. And I put a green grass down there. There's going to be more green grass here. Let me just show you what that looks like. The issues that I'm having is with lighting, as you can tell, quite possibly. Now let me actually go over here to this part of the studio, and that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. If you can't tell, that this is a nylon sign that has wrinkles in it. Now I'm hoping that'll settle down, and the wrinkles will go away. I just now unraveled it and laid it up here. So you can see I'm getting these lines here, which is due to the two lighting standards that I have over here. And I just have to figure out the lighting. The lighting may be one of the most difficult things for me. Actually, let me turn this around so I can see what you guys are seeing right now. The lighting is one of the most difficult things that I'm having to deal with right now because I got some lighting that's coming through the garage door right now, which I'm probably going to end up blacking those out, maybe putting some tinfoil up there. It'll look odd on the other side. I do realize that, but maybe can use some other type of blackout up there. So the lighting situations, you can see the shadow here. So part of the shadow that you're probably seeing right here is from the light or the windows that are in the garage door. So you're seeing that. The other thing that I'm just realizing, and those of you that have a web presenter may have seen this on the DSLR camera that I'm set up to my web presenter. What I saw, or what I'm learning, is that it's only shooting at 720p as opposed to 1080. And so what you're seeing from my Logitech is a lot better picture than what I'm currently getting out of this camera. And I'm not sure if it's even possible to change that. I'm going to be looking a little bit further into that. But at least I was able to get the picture to look different. I am not a whiz with cameras whatsoever, just so you know. And so I may have to go to Sammy's camera, get some lessons on how to make some adjustments on my camera, which may make this better. But it's been a little bit of a bear. I've been on every setting. I've tried the different white balances. I've tried a lot of different stuff. But we're going to get another green little spot here. The camera's going to have to be backed up a little bit further because that is as wide as I have right now, and maybe get a different lens and maybe work a little bit better. But right now I'm dealing with some lighting issues. I'm hoping the sound sounds okay as I'm moving around here. I do hear a little bit of an echo. I'm not sure if it's getting canceled out by the Sennheiser mic that I'm wearing, but I'm concerned about this lighting here. I may have to use a different sign than this one. I don't know if it looks that great. And so I'm a little bit concerned about that. I might just go with one thing I was thinking about doing was doing a whole green screen thing, but then my grass would disappear. So I may have to do a blue screen, put a blue screen up here. That way I still keep the green grass and don't have to worry about that. But normally I would do this on a private, do this privately, but because part of the Facebook Live TV show is to discuss how do you set up a studio, what things you need to know and when you're setting one up, and that kind of stuff. Hey, Charmaine, sign is too difficult to read. It's only thing I just really wanted was the logo, but it's just not. It doesn't look great. You are right. Yeah. So and part of it is the lighting bouncing off of the shininess of it all. So I'm gonna probably come up with a different. Oh, sound is good. Thank you. That's good. Charmaine, I'm glad you're here because that's the reason I decided to go public with this, was not only because I want you guys to see that, as I'm setting up a studio, some of the things that you have to deal with. I do like how the lighting looks, at least right now. I do have something on my screen here. You can see that. For the whiteboard, though, it will be better to have a camera that zooms in. I did one the other day where I zoomed in on the camera. That was when I was talking about the sweepstakes for Amazon. And so I was able to use this. And again, I didn't have the right settings for the camera at that time. So that could have been an issue. Actually, let me go ahead and turn this around. I'm going to get it on. Hold on. I'm going to get it on the whiteboard and zoom in a little bit. Oh, that looks, at least on the camera, it looks fantastic. That's unfortunately one of the things that I'm kind of sad, because if you were actually seeing what's on the camera display itself, you would be so impressed. You'd say, wow, that looks fantastic. Because right now I can see everything that's written on the board. I do have something with the lighting that you're going to see in just a minute. All right, so if I wanted to switch over to the whiteboard, we can do that. Oh, see, then we got a little, that's so funny. And not funny in a good way. So on the screen of the camera itself, it is the clearest of pictures. Just a super clear picture. And let me see if this is straightening up a little bit. Let me go to, so this is what I need. I actually need, I need a cameraman is what I need. So I'm trying to get this focused in here. Wow, this is just not, I don't know how it looks to you guys, because you got to understand, at least be mindful of that when you're using this whiteboard, that if it looks even slightly blurry on on my camera, on my display, that it has to go through the internet, right? It has to go through the internet, and any flaws that you may have in the internet speed or the power of your computer, it's going to be even more blurry. So if you're already blurry in your broadcast software, that it's even going to be even more blurry. So Charmaine's asking, what about the whiteboard in Webinar Jam? And that's good. I mean, yeah, I love it. I think it's perfectly fine. But there is nothing like being able to just simply be able to write on the whiteboard, right? And then be talking about that kind of stuff. And I can go to this part over here if I wanted to display and be able to talk about it. And say, if you're going to do this thing right here, right, and be able to put emphasis on this whiteboard because of something that I wrote there without having the blurriness. Now, again, on my camera, it's not blurry at all. But for whatever reason, in the broadcast software, oops, sorry, I got rid of the wrong picture. In the broadcast software, there's a little bit of blurriness to it. And it is so bizarre. And I'm really not sure what the solution is. So anybody out there, and I know that some of you come for the solution, right, for this particular situation, but I don't have it for you right now. I'm going to try to figure it out the best that I can. Now, what's interesting is on my camera display, you can actually see a little bit of the lighting box coming through here, but actually on the broadcast software, I don't see that light. So just so many interesting things that are happening right here. I will get it sorted out and figured out in a positive way, I am sure, at some point. If it does mean just simply using the whiteboard in. Oops, let me switch back. Sorry. If it's just a matter of going back and using the Webinar Jam whiteboard and doing it that way, then that will be the solution. But I would like to have the ability to be able to stand here and write something, circle something, write it in red and blue, and do it as I'm talking to you on the whiteboard. But there you go. It may be a matter of changing cameras too. I saw Dean had a thing here. Try backing the camera up and back off the zoom. Yeah. But it is interesting, Dean. I find that my camera does the same. It has got to be something in the settings of the camera. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to end up having some camera pro come here and really figure it all out and really zone in on what that thing is and then write it down. Here's some problems. Have you ever done this where you have got everything perfect and you go, oh, I love the way this looks. It looks so fantastic. Then you pack up the laptop computer, you pack up the laptop computer and you take it and you unplug everything. You go do something. You come back and you play. Oh, crap. What were the settings I did? And you're trying to get your settings all back to normal. You got your Logitech settings. You're trying to, do the white balance, in a perfect way. You're trying to get your advanced settings set up in the perfect way. Then you get this other camera that you're trying to get set up in a way, and you're just going, son of a gun. I forgot what I had. So writing down what those settings are, knowing exactly where they're at. I've been smart enough to put tape on the floor to know where my things are, because every so often I have to move them, to sweep underneath them to make sure I keep things nice and clean in here. And then you put things back and you go, where was that exactly? And now you find, so this, of course, is glass. There was a time where I had a reflection of this light box coming off of here, and you couldn't see those top stars. So what I did was take half of my CDC now, how you get this little white portion right here of the light showing through, and actually on this side too. That's the light box. So what I did is take a tennis ball and put half the tennis ball behind here and rocker it just the right amount so that the reflection now was non-existent. Then you have to get get it straight so that you can really not tell that it's off kilter. Again, the reason it's off kilter is so you don't see the reflection anymore. It's actually reflecting that direction and no longer to that particular camera. So you got to keep that in mind. Same thing with the television set. You may have to cock it a certain way so that the lighting right now, for whatever reason, I just happen to get it right. You can see right here, there's a little bit of lighting issue that's actually showing through. Same thing with the whiteboard. I had to put something underneath it so that it tilted just the right amount so that we didn't get that light box. Then I had to raise the light box up at a certain height, again, so you don't get the reflection coming off into the camera. So again, there's as you set up these studios, you got to think about those things. Don't forget that you can tilt your pictures if you have a picture with glass on it, that kind of stuff. A solution. I don't have any of my books, of course. I have none of my books here. One of the things, darn, have no book handy. But one of the things that we've been talking about is the glossy cover of a book. Sometimes, let me see if this comes up right. So if I'm trying to show you what's on the screen, if you don't have it right, you get that. Now, of course, now I can't replicate it. Thought I'd try it. There you go. Oh, I had it. I had it right there. Right there. Nah. Oh, well. So you can get a reflection off of your book when you're trying to show it to a camera. Same thing happens when you're on television, right? Of course, when you show the book on television, you get this reflection of the light bouncing off, and nobody can see what your book cover looks like. The great thing, that option they have right now, is they have that matted finish that gives no reflection. So all the books that I create now that I make, because anytime you can end up on television with any of those books, the matte finish does not cause that reflection. So a really important thing not to forget when you're ordering your books and creating your books is that you create it with a matte finish, not the shiny finish. Because if you end up on TV, I 100% guarantee it. The one time you're going to have that opportunity to put your book on television, it's going to have a reflection, and it's just going to take away from being able to see that cover. So put that on there. All right. So that's my tennis ball hack. I'm going to take a class on the camera. Yeah. I should probably get an expert that come in on live. The unfortunate thing, I need somebody here to hold my hand so that it actually works. Thank you, Charmaine. Yeah, that's a little tennis ball hack. You can find anything, right? You just find something to put back there. When I train detection dogs, I use half of a tennis ball as I'm training the odor for the dogs to find. I reduce the size of the tennis ball to increase the odor of the marijuana, methamphetamine, cocaine, bed bugs, explosives. And so I have halves and quarters of tennis balls laying around. So not everybody, I'm sure, has a half a tennis ball just sitting around like I do. I have a few of them. So, all right. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope there's at least something, Charmaine, Dean, who else? There was something, Miguel, while you were on here, you got out of creating your, Miguel. Hello, Miguel. Creating your studio, things to consider. Lighting is so darn important. Of course, sound is important, but the lighting is going to be key to not distracting people. Getting the right color. Here, I turn off that on the Logitech. What is it called? Settings. I click off the little square for white balance. And so it gives me a little bit more color in my picture. And then I adjust the colors a little bit more. I refine them just a little bit more to make sure that it looks good. And what else did I do with the lighting? There was one other thing. Again, the settings in the camera, there's about 100 different settings that I click through and push down the button, click this, and turn the dial and do a bunch of stuff. And so I can't even tell you where I was at on that one. Half the times I don't even look. I'm just switching and clicking and pushing and pulling and adjusting and trying to get things to work. But this is as far as I've gotten. I think on the other angle, it's a matter of that sign is just not going to work for what it is I want to do. And getting the white balance a little bit better on the Lumix and making sure that works. Again, I think that there is an aspect of the web presenter only accepts or shoots or replays in 720. I understand that that may be an issue, so that could be something that I'm just stuck with. It's a $400 and something device. You would hope that there is something that would shoot a little bit better than that, but we will see what happens. All right, any other comments here? Yes, I need a matte finish. You should be able to, in regard to changing that in CreateSpace, what you would probably have to do is send them a message in CreateSpace and suggest to them. I have had really good luck with things that I made a mistake and clicked the wrong thing. I can't remember the last time. The last one was getting a proof. And getting a proof caused a delay of my book going live. And so I called them and said, hey, I don't want a proof anymore. I just want my book to go live. And they say, hey, no problem. They're really easygoing about it. I think that changing the finish, because you're not changing the title or subtitle or the picture on the book itself, you're just changing what type of finish, right? You should be able to contact them and be able to change that finish to a matte finish. I've got to adjust my Logitech settings and write them down different times of day. I need different settings. Yeah, that's the thing. Especially being here in the garage with these 4 windows that are actually, they're about 1 foot by 4 feet each. There's 4 of them. That amount of lighting comes in during the day and changes the whole dynamics of this particular studio, right? At nighttime, got a completely different thing where I have to move the lighting and change my Logitech settings just a little bit because of the change of day. Right, so that's one of the things why I'm considering just blocking out those. I guess it is blacking out those windows would probably save me from having to do all that and having to worry about shadows and that kind of stuff. All right, again, I thank you, Charmaine and Miguel and Dean for assisting me on this particular project. I really appreciate it. And as I get the settings done and find out if it's a web presenter issue or camera issue or both, I will let you know as I bring somebody in to show me what it is I need to do. All right, that is it for me here on this testing day for the new studio. Not the new studio, the new setup. And I will see you at the next one. All right, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.